Jax's revenge domain.
The elevator doors slammed shut on my career. $4 billion was waiting in the lobby below, and I wasn't going to be there to sign for it. My phone buzzed. Leo Hendrick's name lit up the screen. I rolled my Mont Blanc pen between my fingers, a habit I'd picked up over 25 years in corporate strategy, and answered. Marcus, where are you? We're all set down here, ready to make history. Change of plans, Leo. I'm no longer with the company. Dead silence then. What the hell are you talking about? Just got terminated. Effective immediately. Terminated. On merger day? Come on, that's got to be some kind of power play. The elevator hit the lobby. Through the glass, I could see Leo with his investment team, phone pressed to his ear, looking confused. Behind them stood Peyton Whitfield, 26 years old, fresh MBA, and the VP's daughter. She'd come down to watch what she thought would be my moment of triumph turned into her little power demonstration. No power play, Leo. Reality. Talk to the company reps about next steps. I'm Marcus Sterling, by the way, 47 years old. Up until about 15 minutes ago, I was Chief Strategic Officer at Whitfield Industries. Spent the last 3 years putting together what should have been the deal of my lifetime. Walked out of that elevator carrying a cardboard box like some cliché from a bad movie. Leo spotted me immediately. His face went from confused to alarmed real quick. Marcus, he grabbed me in a hug, still refusing to process what I'd told him, ready to sign this thing. I glanced over at Peyton, who was watching from across the marble lobby with this satisfied little smirk. Afraid not, Leo. She just fired me. Deal's off. Now Leo's looking at Peyton like she'd just told him the building was on fire. You did what? The smirk started fading when she realized Leo wasn't some pushover employee she could intimidate. Behind him, 6 investment professionals were staring at her like she'd lost her mind. I was enforcing company policy, she stammered, clutching that employee handbook like it was going to protect her. His tie violates dress code standards. Navy blue instead of regulation charcoal gray. Leo's voice went flat. You fired the architect of a $4 billion merger over tie color? That's when Thomas Whitfield came rushing out of the elevator, probably wondering why his big moment wasn't happening on schedule. Couple board members trailing behind him, all looking like they'd swallowed something unpleasant. Leo, I'm sure we can work this out. Marcus is valuable. This is obviously a misunderstanding. But Leo had already turned to his team, speaking in low tones, caught pieces of what he was saying. No respect for talent. If this is how they treat their best people, stood there watching 25 years of work circle the drain. Thomas walked over, tried to pull me aside. Marcus, please, let's talk privately. Peyton's new to the role. She got carried away. We'll fix this. Nothing to fix, Thomas. Your daughter made a call. You backed her up with your silence. I'm good with it. Leo came back over. Marcus structured this entire deal. He knows what both companies need, where the synergies are, how to make this work. Without him, he shook his head. Sorry, Thomas. We're out. You can't walk away. Contracts are printed. Press release is ready. Actually, we can. Leo pulled out his phone, scrolled to something, page 23. Section 7, Key Person Clause. Marcus is specifically named. If he's terminated before closing for any reason except illness or death, we can withdraw. No penalties. I wrote that clause myself 2 years back. Thought I was protecting the deal if something happened to me. Never imagined it would be the thing that killed it. Marcus authored that protection, whispered one of our lawyers to Thomas. He's the only one who understood what it really meant. Leo shook my hand. When you figure out what's next, call me. Good people are hard to find. And just like that, they were gone. Left behind a lobby full of stunned executives and one very pale-looking Thomas Whitfield, nodded once to my former colleagues and walked out. Thomas calling my name behind me, but that wasn't my problem anymore. Outside, spring air felt different. Cleaner somehow, had no job, no immediate plan, and had just watched my biggest professional win turn into disaster. But you know what? For the first time in years, I could actually breathe. Phone started buzzing like crazy, turned it off without looking. Whatever crisis was exploding back there, they'd have to handle it without me. Got home, poured myself 3 fingers of bourbon, sat on my back deck. When's the last time I'd been home during daylight? When's the last time I just sat somewhere without checking email? That night, news started hitting. Company stock down 34% on rumors the merger collapsed. By morning, it dropped another 18%. Thousands of jobs hanging in the balance. Company I'd spent decades trying to save was hemorrhaging value by the hour. Part of me felt bad. Good people were going to get hurt. But bigger part of me realized something. I didn't torpedo that deal. Their leadership did. Spent the next week ignoring calls. Colleagues, reporters, headhunters, everyone wanted to know what happened, what I was planning. Wasn't ready to talk. Instead, I slept past 6 a.m. for the first time in 20 years. Cooked actual breakfasts, called my brother Paul. You sound different, he said. Paul's a corporate lawyer, knows this world inside and out, relaxed. Getting fired might be the best thing that happened to me. What's your play? Don't have one yet. Well, when you do, count me in. Someone with your track record doesn't stay unemployed long. 2 weeks in, Thomas finally caught me on the phone. Almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. Marcus, we need to meet. I'm listening. Board wants to bring you back. The situation here is long pause, bad, how bad? Stocks down 52%, 3 major clients reviewing their contracts, business press running daily speculation about bankruptcy filing. Let that sink in. And you want me to clean up the mess. We want you to save the company. Same company that fired me over a tie could hear him deflate. That was a mistake. Peyton's been moved to research. I've been reprimanded by the board. What's the offer? Come in tomorrow. Board meeting. Name your terms. Sat with that overnight. What did I actually want my job back? Public apology, revenge. Yeah, definitely revenge, but not the petty kind. Something bigger called him back next morning. I'll meet with the board today, not tomorrow, and I'm coming with conditions. 4 hours later, walked into that boardroom wearing the exact same navy blue tie that got me fired. Message wasn't subtle, but subtle hadn't worked out too well for me recently. 9 board members stood up when I entered. Could see everything on their faces: desperation, embarrassment, hope, fear. Thomas looked like he hadn't slept since our phone call. Peyton was nowhere to be seen, which was probably smart on her part. Marcus, appreciate you coming in, said the chairman. Old guy named Riverside. Been on this board since before I started with the company. We know the situation is unprecedented. Let's cut to it, I said, settling into my usual chair. In 15 days since I walked out, your stocks dropped 52%. Lost 3 major accounts. Wall Street Journal's running a piece tomorrow about potential bankruptcy. Oh, and Leo Hendricks is now backing your biggest competitor's expansion. You could hear a pin drop. These guys knew the numbers, but hearing them laid out like that hit different. The Hendricks merger was your last shot at survival. Even if I could get Leo back to the table, and that's a big if minus, terms would be garbage now. You'd be lucky to get 60 cents on the dollar compared to what we originally negotiated. Board member named Walsh shifted in his seat. What would it take to get you back? Open my briefcase. Paul had worked all night on this contract. These terms aren't negotiable. Slid the folder across the table. Riverside opened it, eyes getting wider as he read. Passed it down the line. Watched their faces change as each one absorbed what I was asking for. 5 times current salary. Riverside read aloud. Board chairman position. Complete operational autonomy. 40% equity stake in any new ventures developed during employment. Plus public acknowledgement that my termination was an error, I added. Full page in Wall Street Journal, signed by the board. Thomas finally spoke up. Marcus, this is extensive. So was firing your chief strategic officer over dress code violations on merger day. Consider this market correction. Walsh leaned forward. The new venture clause minus 40% seems high. Actually, it's 70%. I keep 70%, company gets 30%, and I have operational control. More uncomfortable glances around the table. These guys were used to owning everything, controlling everything. Now they were looking at giving majority control to someone they'd just humiliated. What kind of new ventures? Asked another board member. The kind that turn companies around. The kind that fix broken corporate cultures. The kind that teach leadership teams the difference between authority and competence. Let that hang in the air for a minute. Look, gentlemen, here's your reality. Without me, you're filing Chapter 11 inside 6 months. With me, you might survive as a smaller, smarter company. But the days of family members calling shots they're not qualified for, those days are over. Riverside closed the folder. And if we agree to all this, you'll try to salvage the Hendricks deal. I'll try. Can't guarantee success. Leo's got principles, and right now those principles say, your company doesn't respect talent, might take some convincing. The room went quiet. Could practically hear them calculating pride versus survival, ego versus financial ruin, family loyalty versus fiduciary duty. We need to discuss this privately, Thomas said. Sure, you've got 15 minutes. After that I'm walking, and this offer expires. Stepped outside, found a coffee machine in the hallway. Terrible coffee, but gave me something to do with my hands. Paul texted asking how it was going. Sent back, about to find out if they value their company more than their egos. Exactly 14 minutes later, Thomas opened the door. We accept your terms. Walked back in. Contract was sitting there with 9 signatures on it. Thomas handed me a pen, different one, from the Mont Blanc I always carried. Used my own pen instead. Symbolic? Maybe, but symbols matter in situations like this. When do you start? Riverside asked. Already started. First order of business is calling Leo. You all better hope he's feeling generous, because I'm about to ask him to invest in a company that just proved it makes terrible decisions under pressure. Called Leo that afternoon, longest 2-hour phone conversation of my career. They fired you over a tie, Marcus. A tie. What kind of leadership does that? The kind that just signed a contract giving me operational control to make sure it never happens again. You really have that kind of authority now. Look at the press release going out tomorrow. Full-page WSJ apology, signed by the board. I'm chairman now, Leo. Different company, different rules. Took some convincing, but Leo agreed to a meeting, not a commitment, just a conversation. Told him I'd put together a presentation showing how the company would operate going forward, how we'd prevent family politics from interfering with business decisions. Spent the next week building that presentation, not just financial projections and synergy analyses. Anyone could do that. This was about corporate governance. Accountability structures, merit-based decision-making, how to run a professional organization instead of a family business. But there was something else I was working on too. That 70% ownership clause wasn't random. Had an idea brewing since day one of this whole mess. Something that would turn the humiliation into opportunity, turn arbitrary power into systematic change. Started with a phone call to James Crawford, our head of operations. Good guy, respected the work, understood that competence should trump connections. James, need your help with a special project. Something outside our normal scope, but potentially significant. What kind of project? Corporate culture consulting. Specifically, helping companies where family dynamics interfere with business performance. Know anyone who's dealt with that kind of dysfunction? He laughed. After what just happened here, I'd say you're the expert on that subject now. Exactly. And there's a market for expertise in fixing what we just went through. Question is, you interested in building something new? Could hear the interest in his voice. What did you have in mind? Meet me tomorrow morning, early. We've got work to do. James showed up at 7 a.m. sharp, brought coffee and a legal pad, which told me he was taking this seriously. We sat in my office, still felt weird calling it that again after everything. So what's this consulting idea really about? He asked. Simple. We just lived through a case study in how not to run a company. Family member with authority but no competence makes arbitrary decision, destroys billions in value. Sound familiar? Unfortunately, yeah, now imagine we're the guys who fix that. Go into companies where nepotism is killing performance, where family dynamics override business sense. We don't just consult, we restructure how they make decisions. James was nodding along. There's definitely a market for that. How many family businesses implode because Junior gets promoted too fast? Exactly. And here's the beautiful part. We're not just selling advice. We're selling a solution that we personally lived through. I got fired by the boss's daughter over dress code nonsense. You watched it happen. We know how this dysfunction works from the inside. Spent the next 3 hours sketching out the framework. Wouldn't be generic corporate consulting. This would be surgical, identify where family relationships interfere with business operations, then create systems to separate personal from professional. What do we call it? James asked. Looked out the window at the city skyline. Sterling standards. Because setting standards is what separates professional operations from family drama. Next step was the Leo meeting. He came in 2 days later with his full investment team. All business, no small talk. These guys had been burned once already, weren't in the mood for relationship building. Marcus, let's be clear, Leo started. We're here because we respect your track record, but this company just proved it makes emotional decisions under pressure. Why should we trust them with our money? Pulled up the presentation I'd been building. First slide showed the new governance structure, clear decision-making hierarchy, conflict of interest policies, family member oversight protocols, because it's not the same company anymore. Look at the board composition, click to the next slide. I'm chairman now. Thomas remains CEO but reports to me on strategic decisions. Any executive hiring above director level requires my approval. Any family member in management gets reviewed quarterly by independent board members. Leo's team was taking notes. Good sign. More importantly, here's what happens if family politics interfere with operations again. Another slide. Automatic trigger clauses. If any family member makes unilateral personnel decisions, they're immediately suspended pending board review. If that suspension lasts more than 72 hours, I have authority to restructure their role or terminate their employment. You can fire the boss's daughter? One of Leo's guys asked. I can fire anyone who puts personal agenda ahead of shareholder value. That's in writing, signed by every board member, including Thomas. Spent the next hour going through financial projections, operational improvements, market positioning, but kept coming back to the governance changes. That's what Leo cared about, guarantee that competence would trump connections going forward. What about your consulting venture? Leo asked. Seems like that might be a distraction. Actually, it's a proof of concept. Sterling Standards will use this company as our first case study. We fix our own dysfunction first, Then sell that expertise to other companies with similar problems. And the ownership structure for that, 70% mine, 30% company. Board signed off on it. Revenue projection looks strong, a lot of family businesses out there that need what we're offering. Leo exchanged glances with his team. We need to discuss this privately. Take your time, but know that the original deal terms are off the table. Stock's down 52% since you walked away. New valuation reflects current reality. They stepped out for 45 minutes, came back looking serious but not hostile. We'll do it, Leo said, but at 65% of original valuation, not the 75% you proposed. And we want quarterly reports on governance compliance, not just financial performance. Wasn't the full price we'd hoped for, but it was survival. Deal. Took another month to finalize everything, but when we announced the revised merger, stock jumped 28% in one day. Not back to original levels, but enough to stabilize operations and save most of the jobs. Meanwhile, Sterling Standards was taking shape. James pulled together a small team, couple analysts, an HR specialist, a legal advisor. We worked evenings and weekends developing methodologies, case studies, assessment tools. Wasn't just theoretical work either. Started using our own company as the laboratory. Implemented new decision-making protocols, conflict resolution procedures, performance accountability measures. Every change we made became part of our consulting playbook. 3 months after I got rehired, we were ready for our first external client. Mid-size manufacturing company, family-owned for 3 generations, tearing itself apart because the founder's grandson thought he should be CEO despite having 0 operational experience. This sound familiar? James asked as we reviewed their situation, like looking in a mirror. Except their version of Peyton is a 32-year-old who thinks an MBA makes him qualified to run manufacturing operations. Our engagement lasted 6 weeks, restructured their management hierarchy, created independent oversight for family member performance, established clear promotion criteria based on competence rather than bloodline. By the end, the grandson was in a training role where he could learn the business instead of destroying it. Client was thrilled. Word started spreading through industry networks. Family businesses are a small world. Everyone knows everyone else's problems. Soon we had more inquiries than we could handle, but the real validation came 4 months later. Harvard Business School called. They'd been tracking what happened with our company, the firing, the deal collapse, the restructuring, the eventual recovery. We'd like to do a case study. The professor said, use your situation to teach MBA students about governance failures and recovery strategies. What would that involve? Full case write-up. Your perspective, the board's perspective, the investor's view. How arbitrary power nearly destroyed a major merger, and how systematic governance changes prevented it from happening again. Sat back in my chair, rolling the Mont Blanc pen between my fingers. From getting fired over tie color to having Harvard study my comeback. Sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Let's do it. But I want editorial approval on the final version. My story, my words. Absolutely. When can we start? 6 months later, Sterling Standards had a waiting list. Companies were calling us faster than we could take them on. Harvard case study was published, which brought even more attention. Suddenly I was getting invited to speak at business schools, corporate governance conferences, leadership summits. The real moment of truth came almost exactly 1 year after that elevator door shut on my career. Company-wide meeting, packed auditorium, everyone from entry-level analysts to senior VPs. Even saw Peyton sitting in the middle section, not hiding in back anymore, but definitely keeping a low profile. Walked to the podium wearing that same navy blue tie. By now it had become my signature, my reminder of how far we'd all come. Year ago today, I was fired from this company for violating dress code policy. Today, I want to talk about what we've built since then. Clicked to the first slide, financial results. Company stock had recovered to 95% of pre-crisis levels. Merger integration was ahead of schedule. Sterling Standards was generating more revenue per quarter than most of our traditional business lines. But this isn't just about numbers. This is about proving something important, that competence beats connections, that merit beats politics, and that professional standards matter more than personal convenience. Looked out at the audience, could see Thomas in the front row, expression somewhere between grateful and resigned. He'd kept his CEO title, but everyone knew who really ran strategic decisions now. Sterling Standards started as a response to dysfunction. It became something bigger, a way to help other companies avoid what we went through. We've worked with 23 organizations so far, prevented dozens of talented people from getting fired over arbitrary nonsense. Next slide showed client testimonials, revenue growth, expansion plans. We were opening offices in Chicago and Dallas, hiring consultants who'd lived through similar corporate family drama. Today I'm announcing that Sterling Standards will become fully independent. This company will keep its 30% ownership stake. Your dividend checks will reflect that, but operational control transfers to me effective next month. Applause started building. People could see the financial benefits, understood this meant stability and growth for everyone. I'm also establishing the Professional Merit Foundation, funded by Sterling Standards profits, focused on helping experienced professionals who face workplace discrimination, age discrimination, competency bias, political retaliation, all the ways good people get pushed aside for bad reasons. Paused, found Peyton in the crowd. Foundation will include fellowship programs for people who've made serious professional mistakes but demonstrated genuine commitment to growth. Applications open next month. After the meeting, she approached me. First time we'd spoken since that day in the lobby. The fellowship program, is that real? Everything I do is real, Peyton. She nodded slowly. Would someone like me be eligible? Studied her face, the arrogance was gone. Year of watching consequences play out, seeing her family's company nearly destroyed because of her decision, had changed something fundamental. Application process is thorough, requires complete honesty about what went wrong, detailed plan for professional development. Commitment to earning respect instead of demanding it. I understand. She hesitated. I've been thinking about what I did every day for a year, how one stupid power trip almost destroyed everything Dad built. Good. That's where growth starts. Can I ask you something? When you wrote that key person clause, did you know it might be used this way? Smiled slightly. I wrote it to protect the deal. Never imagined it would end up protecting me instead. Sometimes the things we create to solve one problem end up solving problems we didn't know we had. 2 months later, Sterling Standards' independence was official. Kept my board chair position at the original company, but my focus was building something entirely new. What started as revenge had evolved into purpose. Harvard case study got picked up by other business schools. Wall Street Journal did a feature article. Forbes put me on their turnaround leaders to watch list, all because I refused to let arbitrary power define my professional worth. Peyton did apply for the fellowship. Her application wasn't exceptional, but it was honest. Detailed analysis of her mistakes, acknowledgement of damage, caused concrete plans for earning competence to match her authority. Selection committee gave her an alternate position, not full fellowship, but a chance to prove herself. 6 months into the program, she sent me an update. Working at a mid-sized logistics company, entry-level operations role, learning the business from ground up, no special treatment, no family connections, just earning her way up based on performance. Thank you for showing me that competence isn't automatic, she wrote, and that respect has to be earned, not inherited. Didn't reply, but kept the message. Today, Sterling Standards operates in 8 cities, employs 47 consultants, and has worked with over 200 companies. We specialize in one thing: fixing organizations where family dynamics interfere with business performance. Our success rate speaks for itself. 94% of clients report improved decision-making processes within 6 months. The original company stabilized as a focused, well-run organization. Thomas stepped down last year, replaced by someone from outside the family. Board actually recruited from our Sterling Standards client network, wanted proven leadership over familiar names. Looking back, getting fired over tie color was the best thing that ever happened to my career. Not because it was pleasant, humiliation never is, but because it forced me to prove something I'd never had to prove before, that my professional value couldn't be determined by someone else's arbitrary judgment. Sometimes the most powerful response to people trying to make you smaller is to grow so large they can't help but stand in your shadow. And that shadow, it can either darken their world or light the path for others. Choice is always yours. If you've made it this far, thanks for staying with my story. I'd be curious what resonated most. Was it the initial firing, the comeback negotiations, or building something meaningful from the wreckage? Your perspective matters, and I read every response. If this story connected with you somehow, hit that like button and subscribe. There are more stories about standing up to workplace nonsense, and I'd be honored to share them with you. We're in this together.